holding $800 billion of our currency. Think about the fear that must be going on, the concern within the Israeli government, the Israeli people, wondering if their stalwart ally is going to be there for the next 4 years or perhaps 8. I would be very disturbed if I was in their shoes, and whether they're going to have to go it alone again should something transpire. But what I think is interesting about this whole subject is President Obama seems bent on the idea of treating world politics and diplomacy. You know, I always like to say we have to deal with the world as it is, not as we dream it should be. And he is dreaming that these folks are going to extend a equally friendly,
and sing kumbaya.
Yes, and no time in history has appeasement and accommodation prior to entering a negotiation ever worked. It's never worked. And it doesn't work when you're negotiating a legal arrangement. It doesn't work when you're trying to negotiate a new job, buying a house. It doesn't work when you're negotiating with the Iranians or the North Koreans. And I think it didn't work for President Carter, who was, I think, set the standard for this. And I don't think that's a model we want to follow.
Right. Again, if any of our viewers are interested in following up on these topics, please go to our website, Peraica.com, or feel free to give us a call, 773-735-1700. I want to now go to the state of Illinois situation with respect to our budget. All of us have been watching with great, I think it has great entertainment value.
And anguish.
And anguish as well, trepidation perhaps as well, where Governor Quinn has proposed a 50% income tax increase, which his Senate colleagues in the Illinois Senate have even increased to, I think, 65%. So a very interesting situation. And while they're talking about increasing the income tax by 50% or more, taxes on cigarettes, lottery and gambling increases, on steroids, Keno machines everywhere, slot machines everywhere, 2 casinos for the city of Chicago and elsewhere throughout the state, internet gambling. What's next? Prostitution and drug sales at the local Walgreens? I mean, where are we going here with this state situation?
Well, downhill with all those strategies, and we should reject all those. I think what's very disturbing about what's going on now is if we were making these decisions in isolation, I could understand some of these decisions, but we're not. We have track records of many other states that have encountered these same problems. And all the recommended solutions from Governor Quinn and some of the leadership in the House and Senate were, of course, nonpartisan, but the Democrats control in Springfield overwhelmingly. All their solutions are the same solutions that have been proposed in the state of Michigan, city of Detroit, Wayne County, Cleveland, Cuyahoga County, Ohio, New Jersey, Newark, New York City, and in every case they failed. And what we've always heard in the past is, well, it's always about the weather. You know, the reason we have a bad economy here is because of the weather. Everybody's moving south. California is losing people almost at the same rate as we are, and more recently actually is beating us in terms of the number of people that abandon the state. So the policies that are being proposed are failing policies, and we and many others have proposed some solutions that actually would work to both balance the budget and, most importantly, still provide the core services that the government should provide for those in need. What Governor Quinn is proposing will actually put those people at risk down the road, unfortunately, because it's not fiscally responsible.
Chris?
I want to support what John is saying by talking about the job-creating function of our economy.
Right.
And our economy here in Illinois has been going down in terms of jobs since 1997.
Right.
So 1997, Tony, we reached a high point for jobs in the state of Illinois. We started coming down from that a little bit before the dot-com boom burst. And then we've continued to go down so that we have not been replacing jobs. And one of the reasons that John is so right about the out-migration problem is because people are not finding the economic growth here, so there aren't the new jobs being created for the young people who are coming up. We even have a situation in Illinois where after all these billions upon billions and literally hundreds of billions of dollars have been spent on education, say, for instance, in the last 10 years, and we are not educating Illinoisans to take manufacturing jobs that exist here today that are going begging for workers. Mm-hmm. And so the people, the owners of those companies are saying, I have to go where I can get the workers to do the manufacturing jobs. So we are shooting ourselves in the foot many times over, if I may say.
Well, we have the state of Illinois, the county of Cook, the city of Chicago, using one-time federal stimulus funds to balance their budgets.
Right.
And what are they going to do next year around? Nobody in this conversation, and neither one of you mentioned cuts. You know, we know from experience that every governmental unit, 85% of every governmental unit's budget is tied to payroll, pensions, and benefits. If we don't cut expenses in those three areas, we're never going to reduce the budgets.
You're absolutely right, and I think that Governor Quinn lost his credibility in this state when he took that $55 billion a year budget pretty much on faith and said, we've got to support this budget. The budget has no validity whatsoever. I mean, we just impeached a governor who spent 6 years growing that budget with the connivance of that ruling clique, that insider clique down there in Springfield. That budget doesn't deserve any external support from Governor Quinn or from any elected official.
No, it doesn't. But let me clarify. Our Budget Solutions 2010 does propose cuts, very specifically over $4 billion in cuts. And here's the case we make. The population in 2009 is roughly the same as it was in 2006. In 2006, in the General Revenue Fund, the core fund of state government,
which is about $30 billion.
Well, Governor Quinn is proposing 30-point-some-odd billion dollars. In 2006, it was $27 billion. If we rolled spending back to that 2006 level, we wouldn't have to raise taxes. Raising taxes now would be a jobs killer. 10% unemployment in the Cook County, 9% in the state. Then the last thing you want to do is raise taxes. So we said, where could we roll the spending back to and still provide those core services? In 2006, then Lieutenant Governor Quinn was not proposing that prisoners be let out and go over to your house and mine to stay. He was not proposing that police officers be laid off. He was not proposing that teachers be laid off. Same population, and yes, there's twice as many people unemployed. They're all being helped, as they should be, by unemployment insurance. The problem is that the hundreds of employees that are working in the administration are looking on the revenue side. What we need to do is turn all their attention to the spending side, and we've given them a roadmap where they can find the savings.
And your report is absolutely marvelous. The 2010 Budget Solutions, Balancing the State Budget Without Tax Hikes. You know, I put forth a budget plan for President Todd Stroger and the County Board, which I have reduced to 7 points. And I have put it out on our Twitter, twitter.com/Tony Peraica. So it's essentially a condensed version of that 7-point plan. But it deals with reduction of the payroll. It deals with pension reform from defined benefit to defined contribution. It deals with modest increases of employees for contribution to benefits, particularly medical insurance and other benefits. It deals with re-engineering, changing the county government as state government needs to change to take it from the 19th century into the 21st century, and the use of modern technologies that would reduce the cost, reduce the headcount and payroll expense. But these are not being employed because those would not reduce patronage and corruption tax, which our leadership relies on here. And those are the issues that we cover in Peraica.com, our website. And please take a look at our website where all of these